Alright, in this video I'm going to show you that how you can somehow self-taught part of your system or regarding Linux kernel to some extent. This is a kind of way I generally lean on time to time apart from other activity to learn from the expert. So this is kind of a step which I have been doing for many years. Once I opted to use Linux as my main OS, that decision was taken 22 years back, precisely in year 2000, and since then I'm running Linux on my desktop laptop, which I have mentioned in my backlog video if you listen to them. So that's beyond the point. But the point what I'm trying to make here, that you are inclined to running Linux as a primary OS in your laptop or desktop, then you are bound to peek through Linux or know some places where you can get more information whatever is running in your system. To do that, there are some mechanism, a lot of binaries out there, and I'll be exclusively talking one of them, and I'll showing you few other stuff which might come handy to your pursuit of discovering Linux in your way, right? This is just one of the option which I personally follow from ages. Okay, so without further ado, let me get into a terminal. So if the first thing, uh, when you boot up the Linux system, whatever desktop laptop it is, uh, but so to begin with, if you are curious and inclined, so there is a popular binary called DMessage, which basically enlists your uh, booting process, or the way the kernel parses your system till the end. So it will give you some sort of information. I'm not expecting you to decipher everything. It will certainly take you some time. Okay, and it happened to everyone, not only you. So without further ado, let me show you. This is DMessage. Okay, so this is not so default because I have put some flag with it. That's why it is showing in this fashion. I'll tell you what flag I gave. So this is for the convenience. So I give some flag with the DMessage binary. That's why it is showing like this. I'll show you in a moment. But this is how it's an absolutely interesting and invaluable place if you are really keen to learn about Linux or whatever the way the kernel interact with your machine. Okay, so I still keep uh, hopping here time to time just to discover, find, understand. I still do. That's why I'm making this video, just to make you aware. So this is very exhaustive and informative. So, and most of the stuff are clearly explained. Okay, and as I said, you probably don't know a lot of stuff, because if you don't have a background in system programming or system internals, you might miss out a lot of stuff. That's okay, that's fine. So i I don't have a rigorous system related background. I learned it over the years, time and time again, visiting this stuff and searching, asking people who are better than me. so I can get a clear black and white picture about what these things are. Still, I'm discovering I'm not yet done. It is not possible to get done because every machine has got different stuff. But this is an invaluable piece of information which is inflated on the terminal with this binary called DMessage. It will show you the stuff, how the kernel is interacting with your system. Okay, so you get a lot of insight if you spend time and see or read through this. It will certainly take you a lot of days. I'm not saying time, a lot of days, probably even month. I may not sound very optimistic in that way, but it's a long, steep learning curve. You need to spend time. People generally, those who are expert, they spend their lifetime, years after years, looking at the thing, doing at the thing, and trying and doing things. So you will not be exceptional. You have to follow the same route. So you need to spend a lot of time to understand all these things, what is going on, at least in your machine. So once you get a grasp of something, and these are, I don't think it is as encrypted as other stuff. So if you have little bit of know-how, the text what it is showing on the screen, you probably get a fair idea. Or if you don't have, you can easily search through and read a little bit of time. So it becomes the decipher this thing. The more you decipher, the more you become accustomed to the way Linux learn on a specific hardware. Okay, which is very, you might not see the immediate benefit of it. It's a slow process, but once you get a hang of it, you'll certainly wanted to know more, because it will force you to understand, to discover more, right? This is a wonderful place to start with. Okay, so the command you need to learn, you probably already know, DMessage. Okay, DMESG, right? So here is one, and I have aliased with the flag, as I said to. That's why the DMessage is showing like this. By default, it doesn't show like this. Okay, now you can see little reds are there. Those are errors. Okay, so I filter it out and put it in another alias, DMessage, or let me clear the screen so it will be easier for you to see. DMessage ERR, that means listing out the errors only. So if I do, see, it lists out whatever red lines you have seen in the previous command. It is only the errors it is showing, which has been filtered out. Okay, now this is very, very helpful, at least to me. That's why I did it in that way. Okay, so to see the alias what I have, see, these are the, let me zoom it a little bit for you. So these are the alias I have in my shell initialization file. You could have put this, the -h -t. These are our timing and all this stuff, right? -l with the error, it will show you the error which is script in while initialization with your machine. Okay, these aliases are there in my initialization file, which is uploaded in GitHub. You can have a look at it. So this is super handy way to take a peek into your system which is running Linux, whether it's desktop, laptop, doesn't matter. Okay, so this is one of the way. The second thing is that you can also see the how the command line in your, see, when Linux boots up kernel, it creates a virtual file system called proc, right? Everybody knows about it, right? It is proc, which is a virtual representation of the kernel. Okay, so I'm in that directory, and if I enlist it, see, you can, it's a familiar picture. Almost everyone who runs Linux for a certain amount of time, they know about this directory. This is a lot of binary is pulling out information from this virtual directory, which is created when Linux boot. Okay, to get a glimpse what is the, say for instance, if you wanted to know the command line what you have run through your bootloader to boot up the Linux system, you can simply do proc cmd line. See, this is the command line what is mentioned in the bootloader. This is for me. Your your command line probably different. You might be invoking or enticing the kernel to uh, come up with some other option, which certainly mentioned. Whether you use grab or some other command line, it depends on it. But that command line is something which will instruct the kernel to the way you want the kernel to be boot up on your specific machine. Likewise, you can get proc version. What are the version of kernel you are running, which you can get here. Uname, see the similar information you can get from that uname binary, right? So likewise, you can get meminfo, the memory information of your system. Okay, and these are the very well known commands, like CPU. What are the CPU you have in your system? Okay, so these are very handy thing. These are very handy thing, and as I said, a lot of binary is taking output from this place and showing it with a in a to the user, presented with the user. Okay, these are the places like in DMessage and this proc directory, which will allow, if you spend some time, which will allow you. I'm not saying everything is decryptable. Lot of stuff, I'm saying it again, lot of stuffs are there. You have to have some sort of understanding of to decipher those cryptic thing in those particular files or directories. But most of them are very much human readable. I mean, if you have a little sense, you can easily parse it. If I can do that, you can easily do that, right? All you need to spend little time and little persistence to pursue. If you don't understand what we do in general sense in life, if you don't understand something, we just pursue. We spend little more time and become persuasive. That's why we come to know a lot of stuff, right? The simple strategy applied here, if it becomes your main OS, and then you are bound to know about it, right? Nobody is going to spoon feed you. It is your responsibility to learn yourself. So will be a mechanism to learn it, and it takes time. It cannot be done overnight, whoever you are. So it happened to the experts also, right? So go and ask the kernel expert. They will tell you the same story. They become expert because they have spent a lot of time. Plus, they have a terrific background behind them. So things get easier for them. But as we ordinary mortal, we have to spend even more time to understand, which might not come easy to understand to us, right? So if you cat through whatever the file is there, it will give you a lot of information. So you can get a lot of information out of it. Yeah. So all I'm trying to say, all the purpose of this video is to say, so please spend some time. If you decided to think this will be your main OS on your work system, laptop, desktop, whatever. So the more you know about the system, the the better you will be to use it in a better fashion, better way, right? Linux is such a thing. It's so enticing, provided you get enticed in a right way. There are a lot of destruction out there, which might be very cheap and shiny, which doesn't last long. To have a good effect on you, you need to understand what you are going to do, what you have to do. That's what I practice, that's why I'm preaching, right? So I thought this video will give you some sort of heads up what you are basically have to. I just show you a little, what I say, little tips specifically to, right, just to peek into your system. There are several other binaries and other way which you eventually discover, like I did. Okay, so it's a learning curve. I'm still going through. Likewise, you probably would love to go through if you are inclined to. Okay, so I hope this will be useful to some people. Thanks for watching.